Welcome to the Orlando Lions Den Podcast, your number one Orlando City podcast. For the fans, by the fans. For the fans, by the fans. Keeping you in the know on all things Orlando City since 2018.
Whew. Are we excited to talk about another draw? Let's go. Sorry, I'm so excited. I'm overwhelmed with it, but I got my boys with me. I got the Alexes, and Alex Ryder, you have not been here in a hot minute. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. Good. Keeping busy, traveling all over the place. I'll talk about that during shout outs, but mostly just happy to be back on and talk some soccer. I've missed you guys. I've missed the audience, and I've really missed Orlando City, and apparently so are we, because they're just fine.
I mean, we've had a little bit of the yips at times, it seems like there's been some issues in front of net, but this one was a little bit more of a rough one. Alex, I know you had a boatload of tickets for this one. How was your experience at this game? You love seeing us play Columbus, so.
Yeah, it was good. I took my son, my wife, and
that's right. Enzo's first game.
Yeah, it was Enzo's first game, so we had a good time. We left at halftime because MLS can only schedule 7:30 games for whatever reason now. Yeah, all this stuff about getting people to watch and go, and they put it behind a paywall on Apple TV and then schedule everything at 7:30 at night. So it's kind of hard to get families out, especially with young ones. So. But we saw both the goals in the first half, so that was fun. That was exciting, and missed opportunities. I still watched the game on the way home, and a draw. I kind of felt like it was going to be a draw, honestly. And it's half glass full, half glass empty. However you want to look at it. We're either not winning games or we are tough to beat, so that's good too.
That's true. We are one of the teams that's got the fewest amount of defeats on the season, but we'll talk about the game here in a second. First, we'll go ahead and talk sponsors. Shout out to Hourglass Brewing, No Mango, No Party. Second year in a row. We love you guys. Appreciate you guys. If you're trying to buy a home in the Central Florida area, Chad McGibbon's got you at Chad McGibbon on Twitter, or if you're watching along, use the QR code on the screen to find his page. And if you're looking to buy a home, you probably need help financing that home, hit up Leo Gonzalez with the Epic Mortgage Team powered by You Mortgage, 407-844-7696. Also, QR code on the screen if you're watching along. If not, applywithleo.com. He's got you taken care of. And last but certainly not least, our man Eddie with Comparion Insurance. Home insurance, boat insurance, car insurance, any kind of insurance, Eddie's got you covered. If you can't get in contact with Eddie directly, just hit us up on the pod page and we will get you connected and he will help you find the rates that will treat you the best. Okay, so game against Columbus, just a quick recap here. Pretty simple to go over. First goal comes in, basically looks like Angulo a little bit, but mostly Marine absolutely asleep at the wheel. I believe it was Lapalainen crossover to Herrera. Marine did not hear the footsteps. Pedro had no shot. Pedro, I will say, had a pretty solid game. Made a couple of really, really good saves to keep us in it. Always happy to see him performing to the way that we know that he should be. And then not too long after that, Marine redeemed himself a little bit. Good ball into Muriel. Muriel takes a shot from distance. Unsure keeper. Spills the ball. Marco Pasalic pounce. He was my call out last week as someone who needed to have a big game. We have been missing his presence. He scores his 15th goal in all competitions on the season, which you love to see that from him. Those are Facundo Torres production numbers, and he's not taking penalty kicks. So, you love to see that kind of production out of the guy that was brought in to take over that role, because it's something that we all felt kind of unsure of when he was coming in. Would he be able to fill those shoes? What kind of player would we have? Feel pretty good about it. Other than that, there really wasn't much to report on in the second half. I think that I'd have to go ahead and double check if there was any kind of disciplinary reasons or things that got us in trouble. We did lose Gerbet early in this game to an injury. I haven't heard anything from the club, but I would be pretty shocked if he's not going to miss time into next season. From the way that injury looked, he looked like he was in pretty rough shape over it. I'll start with Mr. Swag over here. What are your thoughts on the game? How are we feeling overall going into the final 2 games of the season?
I don't like Marine. I'm not a fan of this guy. In fact, I can't remember somebody on the team coming in that I disliked so much. I know he had a decent shout on the secondary assist, but it wasn't even that because it was a shot. But just not a fan of this guy. He's a defensive liability. He didn't play much before he came over here. Just a handful of minutes in the whole season before he came up, and I'm just not a fan of his play. I'd rather have Brekalo back there at left back, just because we know what we're going to get at least. And until he starts playing, a massive amount of offensive help and production, I just don't see a way where we do anything in the playoffs if he's getting, a lot of minutes. So, that's how I'll start with that. Now, Pedro saved us the 3 points for sure.
Mhm.
On his bobblehead night too. So that's I'm glad that he got a hold of that and had some inspiration and he's done great things for us. But huge props to him, and man, Ojeda had a couple chances that you expect an MVP caliber candidate to finish or help in converting, and he did not. And he was the difference between us getting 3 points and not. And those are the chances that we're going to need to do anything in the playoffs, is for him to convert those opportunities, whether it be into goals or into assists. And he didn't do that. He had a chance to do one of each and did not. So, but other than that, for the piece together back line that we had, for losing Gervais earlier in the match and having to go Kyle Smith, it's not a bad result. It's not a horrible result. 4 points against Columbus this year isn't terrible. But it's something that we're still in 7th, so it pretty much kissed the chance of a home playoff game or a home that top 4 seed. It pretty much kissed that goodbye, unless we do something magical, and I think we can win the last 2 for sure. But even still, that may not be enough. So
it's very true. It's a good point about Ojeda too. I almost feel like we used to joke about how the New York Red Bulls were like Poppy's boogeyman. I almost feel like Ojeda's in his head about Columbus being his boogeyman, especially when you think back to that playoff miss 2 years ago. Something that he should have been able to, should have converted, and something that he's converted all year this year, especially. So it's just one of those things. It kind of makes you think. Hopefully, he gets over it quick, because we need him at his best. But these last couple games, it's kind of just been an issue with finishing. We're getting a fortunate goal, and that's all we're getting. Ryder, do you feel similarly?
Oh, very. It's gotten to the point where now I'll throw the matches on when college football is over, and it's almost always right when we miss a sitter. And it's gotten to the point where Kayla even looks at me and goes, "Why do you guys keep missing shots on goal?" And she's not even a big soccer fan. But she knows so much that we've been having these chances and are giving them up. It's fine if we're getting them out of the way now before we go into the playoffs. I mean, it's like you said, a home playoff match is all but out of reach at this point, which I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing or a good thing, because we've honestly had decent runs of play in the playoffs on the road. It's always, we've had the disappointing result at home, but even then, if we keep playing like this, we're going to crash out pretty early on. As far as Marin goes, I wholly agree with Alex. I think he is not the starter that we need, and we're just throwing things together right now. Ojeda, let's just hope that he gets rid of. We said, did we say the Y word on the pod, or?
Oh no, that was me for the first time using that word.
Okay, so I'm not going to say it. Let's hope he gets rid of him quick, because we need him to perform in the playoffs if we have any shot at going anywhere in the playoffs.
Me saying it's not necessarily saying it for him. It's a couple people have him at this point, Duncan, Muriel, which we'll talk about him a little bit later. But yeah, it's frustrating to see us be one of the top scoring teams here. Frustrating to see that kind of happening. As Jake saying he's frustrated by the last weekend. Derek saying team playing like they did on Saturday will save my wallet. Which, yeah, I mean, the positive is at least we win. I think we win more games on the road than we do at home. It feels like. I'm not sure if that's true this year. It's been true in years past.
Hey, if we get stuck with NYC, man, that's
not the road game you want. That's definitely
only
not
thing
the
I'm
road
worried
game.
about right now, to be honest. I mean, looking at the
And it's-
standings, I mean, we are. I mean, Philadelphia won the Shield, and we have the same amount of losses as they do. We're short 4 wins that got turned into draws, and I can name them off the top of my head, which ones come back to bite us. You know, we should have probably won the Shield this year. We should be the number 1 seed, and
Very
and
well
we're
could
not.
be.
We're maybe 30 minutes away from being the Shield winner, and we're in 7th right now. So
yeah,
that's why we love the MLS. That's why we love the parody and everything about it, and the excitement. And people always say, you know, for promotion, relegation, and teams quit, and there's no point in having so many seasons. Well, this year is a direct response to, you know, it's the Shield's already wrapped up, sure, but we got literally the entire Eastern Conference fighting for home playoff spots, not to play at NYC. You know, playing rivals, not to play in the playing match. You know, there's really from 3 through 9 are trying to lock in something positive going into this final match.
So yeah, as it stands right now, 51 points is 9th in the East. Currently, you could be 9th in the West with 40. That just shows how much of a strong gauntlet the East is this year.
And it's important that we finish strong. You know, if we end on 59 points, there's a chance that, you know, from 4 seed down in the West, if they make it to the MLS Cup final and we make it too, that we host. So, you know, we have to finish strong. Got Vancouver coming in from across the country. I know we'll be missing some key players, but I don't think I'm not putting that as an excuse.
They're going to be missing players too.
Yeah. That's the other thing too, is if we lose both of these games or something crazy like that happens, you know, we're playing in the play-in, you know? So it's very important that with these last 2 games, we're fighting for results. You have to be.
Yeah. Personally, I honestly, I think the 6 or 7 seed works out best for us. I know that's weird, but I don't want any chance to play New York City at home. And the only way that they get a home game is by the 4 seed. And so I don't really want to end up the 5 seed.
Mm-hmm.
Even if we're playing Charlotte, I don't want to have to rematch them and play them twice on their fake grass and huge stadium that they'll pack, I'm sure. So, you know, not a huge fan of the 5 seed, to be honest. I'm just looking ahead. I'm looking to stay in this 6 or 7 seed, see if we can lock it in or somehow jump up to that 4th. But, you know, you got a team like New York City who's playing Seattle, who honestly doesn't have anything to play for. They're 7 points behind LAFC and 5 points ahead of Austin. So, you know, they don't have much to play for. And then Charlotte in the 4 seed right now, they got to play Philly in their last match, who definitely literally has nothing to play for. So
yeah, hopefully they still want to go out there and say, just, you know, prove that they're great and have more points than anything. And shout out Jake, he wants 3 points since this is the game that got rescheduled from his trip due to Leagues Cup. Hopefully they deliver for you on that, Jake. That'll also give us a total of 18 points out of a possible 18 against teams from the West, which I know some people want to say, oh, the games against the West don't matter as much. No, every game matters, and those are just bonus points. You want to get as many bonus points as you can. So with that being said, before we talk about, you know, the game against Vancouver, before we talk about international absences and all that fun stuff, stock up, stock down. I feel like we have a unanimous stock down on this group. I don't know if anyone wants to say anything other than, Marine, but I feel like, none of us came out of that feeling reassured about him. And now we're going into this game with missing players and not excited about the fact that he's most definitely playing again.
He was pretty good. And, if I had to put it on somebody else, it'd be Alex Freeman. Probably the
Did not
worst
have a great
match
game.
that I've seen him play in purple. Was walking around, was getting owned by Arfston in the second
Yeah.
half.
So I wrote
How
down.
much so he got frustrated and had that really bad foul.
I mean, he was literally just. I haven't seen a lack of effort from him all season, and it genuinely felt like there was a lack of effort, whether it be tired legs, playing so many minutes, whatever it may be.
Could be
But
that, yeah.
That was probably the most alarming part of the game for me, to be honest. Was
Alex was
I
out
don't
of it, yeah.
the finishing. I don't really, it's hot and cold, and if we keep generating the chances that we generated, we're gonna be in good shape in the playoffs, and being tough to beat. So I'm not too worried about that. But Alex Freeman's been our key player for the year, aside from Martin Ojeda, and uh, his performance was the most alarming thing for me, for sure. Because if he continues to play like that, we definitely don't stand a chance.
Yeah. I'm hoping that it's just a one-off thing with that, but I understand. I wrote down specifically on my rewatch today, 82nd minute, he was just completely asleep at the wheel, and Arston just went right through him because he was just slow playing it in his own box. Forced Pedro to make an incredible save, and that saved the game.
Yep.
Not a situation you want to be in. But Alex is, unfortunately, for the first time this year, is a good shout for a stock down. That was kind of a poor performance, and maybe going with the U.S. men's national team will recalibrate him for the playoffs.
He's just gotten so many minutes, man. He's been playing everywhere, and
He's needed a break, honestly.
and he hasn't gotten one, and I feel bad for him. And I hope he's not looking forward to Cancun, because we need him here. But it'd be hard not to, with as many minutes as he's been playing.
I mean, the sooner that he goes to Cancun, the sooner he might also be going to Villarreal, So, anyone else? Any other stock downs for you, Ryder?
No, I agree. We just got to be better on the back line, and right now, multiple players are not doing well, and we're gonna really miss Freeman, even though he wasn't looking the best. We're gonna miss him this weekend.
Well, I mean, without Freeman, we're looking at either Kyle Smith right back or Dagger Dan right back. That's pretty much our only option, because we do at least get Rodrigo Schlegel back. So we will have at least Schlegel and Janssen as our center back pairing. But Marine's going to be back at left back as well. And Atuesta is also one yellow card away from a suspension, just for what it's worth. But anywho, stock ups? Anyone?
Definitely Pedro.
Pedro, I was going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm going to give us
saved the point for us, no doubt. I would say it's got to be Pedro.
Yeah, I'm going to give a slight one to Marco, just because of the fact that I did specifically say he needs to show up and do something. And he did. So I'm at least happy with that. Jake put in here Smith at right back, DDT at center mid. I actually disagree. I would put Smith at center mid, just because I feel like he's played better there and is more complementary to Atuesta, because he's a better defender. And we could still use Dagger Dan going forward down the right wing. I think if we have two more attacking-minded center mids, it's going to cause us holes defensively. And our center backs aren't the fastest. And Marine, clearly, also not the fastest. So I would actually reverse that. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts one way or the other.
I was going to give a mini stock up to Kyle Smith, because it's not easy to come in the 5th minute and be serviceable.
And get subbed off.
You're cold, man.
He got subbed off later.
Yeah, I thought he played well in his minutes. He didn't have any lapse, in my opinion, and just once again showing what he is for this team. And I miss Dagger Dan being that for me, and I hope that he can show it, because the fact that I know Dagger Dan focused on the right back position last year, and that's where he came off as and played really well for us. But man, we know he can play anywhere, and the fact that he can't that we're not starting him at left back when we need a left back. I'd at least give it a whirl. I'd give it a try.
And Jake, I just want to point out, because Derek said the Kentucky Pirlo, I was thinking this and you beat me to it. So I can't take credit for it because you typed it first, Louisville Lampard. But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely happy that Kyle's coming in and playing well in that role, because it's very difficult to just get tossed in there. But we kind of don't got a choice, man. We need him because this lineup.
Where's Cesar? What's up with Cesar?
He's on a milk carton last I checked. But no, last I heard he was still training separately on the side. So I don't know how serious his injury or if he's close to health. I know I put something out about like the possible free agents and stuff in the league, and people were like, "Oh, Cesar's on the list." I was like, "Guys, Cesar's gone. Like, if Cesar hasn't signed a new contract already, he is gone. I don't see him. If he stays next year, I'd be happy. I wouldn't be upset, but I just don't see it happening at this point. It's been way too quiet on that front to think that he's coming back. So, anywho. Anything else? Stock up, stock down wise, guys? We good? We got it all?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm covered.
That sucks about Cesar, but we'll see.
I mean, we definitely need him healthy. I feel bad that we kind of talked crap about Alex a little bit, and then I wanted to talk about him. The 22 under 22 list.
Crap. I mean, I think he'd agree it was probably one of his not so great performances.
I'm with you on the fact that I feel like it's just tired legs at this point. Like it's been a long season for him. He's not gotten much of a break. He's playing all 90, every 90. But he did finish on the 22 under 22 that MLS put out. I believe that comes from clubs. It comes from players. It comes from pundits. He was voted the second best player in the league under the age of 22 behind Obed Vargas from the Seattle Sounders. And honestly, if you looked at the way that the voting scores shook out, they were 1A and 1B, and the rest of the field wasn't close to them. I think that Vargas finished with like 12,091 or 1,291 points, and I think Freeman finished with 1,280 points. And there was only one other guy who was over 1,000 points. So it was definitely like these two are the cream of the crop. You know, Vargas is a defensive midfielder for the most part. Like, he's not a flattering position. Freeman's been a dog as an attacking fullback. I mean, I just wanted to bring it up. I don't think there's really much to say about it other than the fact that we're just so happy for the kid's development, and we're sad that he's probably going to be leaving us soon. So
yeah.
But it's
not
a
happy
testament.
About that.
No, it can't be happy about it, but we can still hope that he maybe gets loaned back to us. But as time has gone on, do you think that's even going to happen anymore, Mike?
I mean, it's going to depend what happens, because he's in the next year will be the last year of his contract. So as far as like leverage it gives us for negotiating, we have none for like trying to get transfer fees. So they might have to just take what they can get. And if no one loans him back, no one loans him back. So yeah. If he doesn't want to sign they gave him a U22 contract offer and he's not signing it. So there's not much we can do if he's not willing to sign it.
Yeah. It'd be World Cup suicide to go somewhere and sit for 6 months before the World Cup.
I agree. That's why I think he's going to try and negotiate what it is, or he's just going to ride out his contract and leave for free. It's going to be one of the two.
And that's why I'm encouraged that he still has a chance at the World Cup team, but he's got to show out for the national team. And in the back of my mind, when we were talking about his performance last weekend, that might be a small piece of it, that he was kind of saving himself just a little bit for these national team matches, which that's not nothing for a guy like him who wants to move up and get into this big World Cup that on home soil. But I have no problem with him being second. It's something to be darn proud of for the academy and for the club. And when we sell him on and when he hopefully gets on in the World Cup, it's something we can be darn proud of. We just have to embrace the fact that he's not going to be here forever, and it's going to be next man up.
And friendly reminder that Miami's academy said no to him. So remember that, Alex. We were smart and we cared about you. So care about us in return. All right. So we got Vancouver at the weekend on Saturday, but we got some absences. As we're talking, Alex Freeman is out. Huh?
Just a few.
Oh yeah. Oh, and I also can't spell right. So let me fix that.
That's the trademark.
Heritage.
You should add the trademark sign after that.
I don't think I have that in there. Now that looks like it's closer to being spelled right at least. So international. Yeah, I can't even read. Isn't that impressive, guys? I run this show and I don't read. As we mentioned, Alex Freeman's out. Bracalo and Pasalic are both European World Cup qualifiers. Spicer is out for World Cup qualifiers for Trinidad. Not that they're out for World Cup qualifiers. They're not going to impact the team much, but Caraballo and Otero are also out. So Mercado is going to be our backup goalkeeper. Thankfully, Pedro didn't get called up for meaningless games. And Gerbe likely, of course, is out injured as well. Granted, we don't know what his injury is, which forever frustrated with the club about that. But the positive here is we're not the only people that are dealing with absences. Vancouver Whitecaps, Ali Ahmed and Kenji Cabrera, two important players for them in their midfield, as well as Andres Kubas, third important midfielder for them, is out. Jaden Nelson also out. Alumi, I'm not as familiar with Alumi's work. He will be called up for them as well. I'm not sure if that means they're going to have Thomas Muller, but it looks like they will have Thomas Muller coming to Orlando. So get your popcorn ready for that, I guess. But a lot of absences there. Oh, Derek.
Thomas Muller versus Rodrigo Schlegel, the matchup everybody's always wanted to see.
I've always wanted to see it. And then Derek saying, I can't wait to see Pasalic and Bracalo play for 3 minutes when we could use them. I agree with that, but when it's a World Cup qualifier, the club can't get in the way and block them coming here. Like they can. When it's a friendly, I feel like they could have blocked Alex Freeman if they wanted to. But at this point, the reason they're not is because they need to sell him this summer or this winter. Like if they don't sell him this winter, we get nothing for him. So that's why they're letting him go play with the U.S. men's national team. That's my theory.
I just don't care. I don't know how many times I have to say this, but I'd rather keep the guy. I mean, yeah, we lose the Gam and Tam. That's about the only thing I care about. But if we're talking about millions of dollars for multi-billion-dollar owners, I have a hard time caring, to be honest.
Don't worry. We're going to be talking about them and their money here in a couple minutes.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
I have a hard time caring, man.
I got thoughts about them and their money right now. But with all these absences, our final home game of the regular season against Vancouver, they got absences on their side. We got absences on our side. Ryder, what are you thinking about this game? What are your predictions? Who are your goal scorers? All that fun stuff.
First off, I got to agree with you. I'm happy that Pedro is sticking around. That would have been the nail in the coffin right there, especially after seeing him perform as well as he had in the last match. But realistically, without Pasalic, this match falls on two people. It falls on Ojeda and it falls on Moriel to regain form and actually create something and not just miss opportunities. If we can do that, and if Duncan, realistically, I see Duncan coming off the bench this again.
Should be.
If we can get that done and get a go-ahead goal early and then get a second one in the second half, we can maybe scratch out a win. But in all reality, I think this is, especially with some of our defensive issues, although I feel like Schlegel might have a good one, I'm going to say this is a 2-2 draw.
2-2 draw. Okay.
Who's starting that right wing?
Nico Rodriguez, probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he did not look great in his short appearance.
It's a better answer than I thought, but I don't think we're going to have anybody on the bench besides Duncan.
Actually, you can't have Justin Ellis or Colin Gusky either, or Caraballo. They're up with Gusky and Ellis are with the U19 national team.
I genuinely don't think we have anybody on the bench. Otero or Mercado and Duncan. That's all I can even think of off the top of my head. Thomas Williams will be on the bench.
Thomas Williams, Tahir Reed Brown, maybe. Taifi's still injured, which sucks because we could use a guy like him right about now. Because actually, he's one of my favorite. Been one of my favorite like revelations this year as like a bench player. He's been a good utility kid. So
I just don't know who's gonna. I think we're not even gonna dress the full 18. I don't think we can. I really don't think we can dress the full 18.
Let's see.
I'm just thinking about this right now.
No, you're making a really good point, man. You're making a really good point.
I don't even think we can address the 5 subs. To be honest.
Oh, we got no, don't worry. Shaq Muhammad, he's ready.
Jeez.
Is he?
It's gonna have to be.
All right. Anyways, we're gonna start 11 dudes, and then the only sub that we're gonna have, I think, is gonna be Duncan. We might literally see one substitution.
So
and maybe Thomas Williams.
According to this, Tahir Reed Brown is actually injured on from the last game on Foot Mob, so probably not him.
Yeah, you might see 2 subs. You might see 2 subs.
Damn, what the?
We don't have 2 keepers, Jake. Jake, you said 2 keepers on the bench. We don't even have that.
Yeah, the other keeper would have to be something that comes up from the academy.
OCC.
I don't remember what his name is.
Oscar might suit up.
Yeah, I think we'll see 2 substitutions at most. If we're losing, we're only going to see 1 sub. It'll be Duncan. Man, that's crazy. How
and also, Jake, you mentioned Caraballo or something. Yeah, he's with Venezuela, so
yeah,
he's not available.
Not even Gusky. I was thinking Gusky would start, but then I remembered he's gone too. I was thinking, you put you have Gusky to start, but nope, he's gone.
Can I say the obvious? Shout out to MLS for scheduling the last couple matches of the season when it's crunch time during the October window. Like
I have mentioned, I agree with you to a degree, but unfortunately we can't fully blame them. This game was rescheduled due to Leagues Cup.
Oh, that's right.
So
yeah, shout out to everybody thinking that Leagues Cup was worth anything.
Yeah, Alex can get on his high horse now.
Should have listened to me at the beginning of the Leagues Cup, and we should have just punted the whole thing because it was rigged anyways.
Leagues Cup was ass.
Yeah, it was this pointless tournament anyways, and we got the butt end of it all. The worst you can finish in the Leagues Cup.
And we lost how many points by being conservative between the group and
Yep, go back and the biggest mistake we made all year was going for that cup. And I know, Cleon and everybody will say it's a cup, you go for every cup, but man, I do not care about that cup. I knew it was going to bite us in the butt, but even I couldn't predict it was going to bite us this far in the butt, where we're going to go into basically a must-win match against what should be an easy win. Thomas Mueller or not, this should be a simple win. It's the Vancouver's traveling 3,500 miles to get here, and when we go to Vancouver, when they come here, it's the same thing. It's the farthest road trip that you can do since Vancouver to Miami.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to be a frustrating one, especially if we can't just put it away early. But I mean, just looking at our bench last week, Artero's gone, Caraballo's gone, Gusky's gone, Duncan will be there, Nico's starting, Kyle's starting, Spicer's gone, Dagger Dan's going to have to start, and Thomas Williams. We're going to have maybe 3 dudes on our bench.
And Gervais hurt, and Atuesta is on a yellow card.
MLS, yeah, it sucks for the scheduling, but there's no place else we could have done it aside from in the midweek last week,
which is hard to do. Which is hard with a team that would be having to travel as much as Vancouver is. It's harder to coordinate that. That's why it got moved.
And it just makes sense. I mean, this is an open week. It's they might as well just do it here. You can't push back decision day for it. But man, what a crapshoot! It's just that Leagues Cup. Going for that Leagues Cup is going to be the demise to the best soccer Orlando City team that we've ever seen, and it's because we went for that Leagues Cup. So, with that being said, Ryder said 2-2 draw. I think we'll be lucky to get a draw.
Oh,
Vancouver's got a star player who's made an instant impact. Who's going to be licking his chops. This whole team's going to be licking their chops when they see the starting lineup for Orlando City. So, hopefully these guys act like they got something to prove. But Vancouver's still playing for the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. They're still playing for a bye. They're tied at the top of the table in the West right now with San Diego. They have an impact player. And, it's going to take our impact, like you said, Ryder, it's going to take our impact players to do something, and be better than Thomas Mueller. So, I think we'll be lucky to get a draw. Honestly, I think it's going to be like 3-2. Then there's going to be goals because both teams are going to have a hard time up the spine, I think.
I'm feeling bad for Pedro right now. Pedro's going to have a long night either way.
I was going to say that I think for the first time probably all season, I'm picking a 3-1 loss. They have a good team. They didn't have as many of their key players called up. I think that they're going to be relatively fine. And with everything that we have as far as absences and injuries and all this, I'm not excited. I'll still have Den After Dark. Don't worry, but
a bunch of important guys.
Yeah,
starters and subs.
Yeah.
Not having Tyrese Spicer. It's going to take something magical, man. It's going to take a
Angulo's going to have to score.
Yeah. I'm not for Jake. I'm not forgetting the travel factor. I'm really not. But we literally don't have anybody. I mean, we're starting a skeleton crew and have nobody to come off the bench other than Duncan. So
I'd be shocked if we used 3 substitutions.
Honestly, I'd probably start Duncan, to be honest, because if Duncan's not the guy to create his own chances and come off the bench and create his own spot, and him coming, he's going to have to be off the bench. One of them is going to have to be off the bench.
No, it's not what you just told me what they're going to do. They're going to start Muriel at the 10. They're going to put Ojeda at the right wing, and they're going to start Duncan up top. Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
I think that's a good idea.
It's the only way that they're going to get anything out of their attack, and then we're probably not going to use hardly any subs aside from Shaq Muhammad for tired legs, because that's probably
we could
all
use
we got.
Nico Rodriguez if that happens. But
yeah, that Nico Rodriguez maybe. That's about it. But I think that's what's going to happen. They'll end up pulling Muriel and then move Ojeda back inside and then put Nico on the wing.
I think that's what the game calls for, to be honest. I think you got to get out early and lock it down. You have to own the game. You have to control the game. You cannot be playing. If you want to get a result in this match, you cannot be playing from behind. It just can't happen.
If we do that, I'll go ahead and agree with Ryder in the fact that I think we could eke out a draw because we'd be able to at least control the ball a lot more. So
has Ojeda played from that side?
Not really.
He'll streak in. Muriel and Duncan play well together. That honestly excites me. That idea.
All right. Well, podcast brought to you by BlueChew.com. It's got Alex excited. So
yeah, and Jake says we're taking too much out of Ojeda's game at that point. I don't think so. I don't think. I think he'll free roam and it'll almost be like we'll almost play probably like a 5 in the back type of deal. With Jansen, Smith, and Schlegel at the 3, and then we'll have Angulo and Dagger Dan on the wing backs, and then we'll kind of play 2 attacking mids and a Duncan up top.
I was gonna say, like Jake, I don't necessarily love the idea either, but it's gonna get our best players on the field. I think it's something that's it's just gonna happen. We might not like it, but it gets the best players on the field, gives everybody an opportunity to potentially impact the game, and it's probably what's going to happen. So
yeah, I'd see it being like a 5-2-2-2, or what do they call that? Like a 3-4-2-1, 3-4-2-1, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the best way to go. I think that gives that we mix it up, and it's going to go one of 2 ways. Either it's going to absolutely kill us, or they have no film on that, and we take advantage of it, tired legs, and and get out to a hot lead. And it's one of those games where I just can't see it ending in a draw. Either we're going to win because we come out hot and do
You
it,
got to
or
pepper him,
we're going to
pepper him
lose
early. Yeah.
because we ain't going to come back from behind.
No, I'm with you on that. This is going to be an interesting one to say the least, for sure. So he's going. Jake's giving us a cheeky 2-1 win. You know what? We would take that. So, all right. I got two other things I want to talk about before we wrap up this show. First is a rumor that popped up today. Well, it actually popped up yesterday, I think, but it was coming from like an ESPN Brazil source, and I wasn't thinking too much of it. But then Fabrizio Romano goes ahead and tweets that Orlando City Board presented their project to Richarlison to join in the summer of 2026 with a mission to London to meet with his agents. Even name drops Ricardo Moreira, shout out Rico, spoke to Richarlison's camp as per ESPN, but he is a key Spurs player as of now. One other thing that was mentioned in this report is basically Spurs doesn't want to let him go. And they were basically saying $40 million. And clearly, we're not going to spend $40 million on a guy like Richarlison. But I do love this level of ambition, even if it's something that is kind of tied right now more to something that'll be middle of next year, happening in the summer, happening post World Cup. But this kind of ambition of bringing in a guy, trying to bring in a guy like Richarlison, is something that should excite you guys. Even if this move doesn't happen, they just better not be in a situation where they say, "Oh, we didn't get our guy." I guess that's it then. There's got to be more guys that they want to go in that are of this caliber. So I'm hoping that this is, this is what Ricardo wants. This is his big boy job that he's been wanting. And we all like him. We all like what Ricardo does. You got to get these moves done. So this is something that to me is exciting. How do you guys feel about this? Because it tells me one other thing as well. And that means that we have a few games left with Luis Muriel before he's gone. Like, because you're getting rid of a guy like Muriel in a heartbeat if you have a chance at getting a Richarlison.
I think it's a no-brainer move. I don't know why. I mean, if the price tag's the only thing, I could see that. But man, I think he should want to. I would want to come here and be the star, and you got 1 or 2 more years of being on the main rival for Messi, and I've always said we have a large Brazilian population, and this is one of the top guys and one of the positions that we need for Brazil. So.
And this is the other thing that I like too. He's still only 28,
Yeah.
he'd be 20, that's trying to get guys in prime. That's what's important.
I don't, and I feel like it's a move where I know he's gotten off to a better start with Tottenham this year, but and they're using him, but man, I don't think playing in MLS for 5 months before the World Cup is going to make or break a spot on the Brazil national team for him. And if anything, I'd be looking at it like getting acclimated. I think there's something to be said about coming here, doing travel for 3, 4, 5 months, playing on the pitches, playing in the conditions, the weather. I think there's something to be said about that. And frankly, I'm surprised they're not seeing a lot more guys for contending national teams come over to this league to start next year. I think that now's the time. This is what they've been talking about, and that for MLS ever since we got this World Cup is it's going to bring big names over. Well, I don't think big names are going to come over after the World Cup. It's now or never heading into this season. But yeah, I mean, I'm with you, Jake. I can't see it happening either, but I think it's a good move for both teams, his camp and for us. I think it would be an amazing move. And Ojeda, Pasalic, and Richarlison that attack would feed families.
That'd be awesome.
I mean,
Mike,
it'd be great. It's something that the MLS should want to step in and make happen no matter what. In my opinion, I think if there's even a hint of him wanting to be here and do that, with being in Orlando for sure, Messi's rival, it's a no-brainer that they should want to step in and not only Orlando City and the Wilfs, but the whole league should want to get this move done if it's at all possible.
Mike, let me ask you this. The
Mm.
Fabrizio quote says summer 2026. Was the earlier report from ESPN also saying summer 2026? Or was that just 2026? Because I'm curious how it's being presented as a post World Cup or pre World Cup kind of thing. I've only seen summer 2026 when you showed this earlier.
As far as I know, it's only been summer 2026, so it's more of a post World Cup move rather than pre World Cup move.
So I think this is ambitious. It's good to see that we're going after younger star talent in Europe. My question is this for 26 or 27? Because his contract with Spurs ends, according to Transfer Market, at the end of the 26-27 Premier League campaign. And maybe it's not necessarily just to get him here after the World Cup. It's to get him here a year after the World Cup and have him. You think they wouldn't wait that long?
No, they wouldn't. There wouldn't be reports about this if they're going to try and sign him 2 years from now. You know?
I think it's for him to leave a year early, basically.
Because the reason for that is because his price will get cheaper when he's got 1 year left on his contract for us to buy him. So you can get him cheaper because of the fact that he can opt to leave in a year anyways. So they'll sell him for what they can get for him. So that's why they want to try and have these conversations now, get those ideas out there. Maybe right now, they're like, yeah, 40 million, but who knows? Maybe he doesn't play that much, isn't scoring a lot of goals or something like that. Now they'll take 12 million for him a year from now. That's why you want to be the people that are there and persistent so that if it were to happen, like I said, this is still so far off that I don't think we're close to anything happening, but it is something that I love the ambition of it. And that we're making these moves early. Because if you follow Ricardo on Twitter and or Instagram, like I do, he's been posting from London all this past week, like working on stuff over that way. So to see this report come out, knowing that he's like meeting with Spurs, being like scheming, who can I get? I love it. So I'm hopeful that it means something.
It's ambitious.
I hate this comment. It would kill his Brazil chances. I can't stand that. I can't stand that idea. I mean, if he's getting decent playing time at Tottenham, sure, but coming to play in the country where the World Cup is going to be, and
he wouldn't be coming until after anyways.
Even if he's not coming, but even if he came in before, getting acclimated, coming in, likely dominating. It's the World Cup. Yeah, it's 48 teams now too. He's going to play when he goes to the World Cup. If he comes and dominates, he's going to play at least 3 teams that are well below Brazil in the world, probably in the round of 32 as well. And at that point, if he's getting playing time, he'll be doing just fine in the sixth round of 16 and forward. So I hate this look, this right here, that coming to MLS kills anybody's national team chances. I can't stand that. It's a competitive league. We have guys that are competitive on their national teams in our league, and I don't think going to the league that is hosting the World Cup before the World Cup should be viewed as negative at all. This is a tough league to play in. The travel is tough, and getting acclimated. There's something to be said about getting acclimated. So I can't stand when people say that about MLS, because it's not. It shouldn't kill anybody's chances. It's going to France. You should be saying the same thing about going to Italy or France or Belgium. Those leagues are not that great, and the travel is nowhere near what these guys are going to do in 9-10 days in the World Cup, in the group stages. And then after that, the team like Brazil is going to be traveling literally all around the country, playing games 4 days apart. I'm not a fan of that. I think I can't stand it, to be honest. I'm not. I know this league isn't a top 5 league in the world, but you know, you look at France and Italy. There's 4 or 5 teams that if you know those guys are playing when they're playing the bottom 5 to 7, 8 teams in those each of those leagues every year. It's not that competitive. It's really not.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I
and I
think
get it,
it's it.
leaving a top team in Tottenham, but if he's not playing that well with them or not playing a lot, I just that goes for
He need
anybody. That
got to
goes for
play.
anybody
Getting more
that can
playing
play in
time
their national team.
in America is going to be better for him in the long run. Not to mention, we might not be a quality league, but it's a fast league, and
It is a
that's
quality
something.
league, though.
It is. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's a tough
Not
league.
for
It's
and
not easy.
that it factor that you're talking about for getting into the Brazilian national team. That's an it factor that if they have any sense, like you were saying, Alex, they're gonna want him to have that experience. And if we could get him here before the summer, that would be even better. But Mike, you were saying they were asking for $40 million, and if we have to wait, it goes down to 12. I mean, I don't know. I don't think Orlando Storm are going to pay that much to use Intn'l Stadium.
I
So
mean,
that's perfect segue.
Richarlison, 30% of his matches for Tottenham this year are going to be against teams that are within like 15 miles of his home stadium. So, coming somewhere where you actually have to travel, get used to it, these guys are going to be in for a hell of a shock, especially like when they played the last World Cup in a place like Qatar where you could walk to each and every game. It's the exact opposite, especially once they get into those quarterfinals, semi, and final rounds, like Brazil hope to do. These guys are going to be flying from, at best, places like New York to Kansas City, which you're hopping 2 time zones. You're traveling 1,500, 2,000 miles, different cities, different climates, different altitudes. This is going to be a whole nother ball game of a World Cup.
Which I just did those flights to Kansas City. Bumpy, I'll tell you that. So, all right. Alex gave me the perfect segue, though. So apparently we're getting a football team. They're trying the USL for a third time because we
Take
had
7.
we had the Alliance of American Football, which gave us the Orlando Apollos,
which
then
didn't even finish their season.
The XFL, which gave us, I believe it was the Orlando Guardians, if I remember correctly.
Relocated from Tampa.
Yeah, and then the XFL folded. They got rid of our teams. Then we got now the UFL, the United Football League, and the Orlando Storm is who we're getting. And these teams decided that they wanted to have better environments. They didn't want to play in big empty stadiums. So rather than the Citrus Bowl or the Bounce House, they will be playing at Intn'l Stadium. I, for one, am not thrilled with this because we already have 2 soccer teams playing on our field. The beginning of this year and parts of this year, our pitch looked rough. And now knowing that there's going to be at least 5 football games played on it between the end of March and the end of May, and if we make the playoffs, potentially more with this Orlando Storm, we'll be playing in June. I'm not happy about that. I hope that the Wilfs are giving the grounds crew a raise because they will need it to keep this place under control. The only report that I saw recently is that if there's like soccer games and football games planned on the same weekend, the soccer games will happen first, which considering it's our stadium, damn right. Like what, I don't know what you guys are talking about. But I want it to be noted. I saw some people saying like, oh, did the city do this or what's happening? How did this happen? Reminder, the stadium was privately funded by Flavio when he owned the team. So now the Wilfs own the stadium fully. This was a club decision to lease the stadium out to this. So if you want to be mad at anybody for this, like I am, be mad at the club because I'm not huge on this decision. Ryder, I don't know if you played football, but I know Swag did. So how do you guys feel about this announcement of a football team coming in and potentially tearing up the field a little bit?
I'll go first. the trying again to get a team in Orlando, I don't hate it because I like seeing professional spring football, and it's been nice to see that a couple players have come out of it into the NFL and had great runs of it. But I think this is going to be an interesting, and I mean, we're an Orlando City Soccer Club podcast. We're not an Orlando American football podcast, except for shout outs and when we're arguing about fantasy football. But it's nice to see another team and see them attempt it. When the XFL folded into USFL and became the UFL, we lost another team that was playing at the Citrus Bowl, and attendance for the Guardians was abysmal. The Guardians were literally just a rebranded. Was it Guardians?
Wasn't good for the
or
Apollos either.
Well, the Apollos, I saw a couple of games had decent attendance, but attendance went down as the season went on, and the novelty went down, and then they just stopped paying their players and they're all together, and then the league folded before the Apollos could even win the championship, which they were the best team. They were the best team by far, but it doesn't matter when you don't get paid. The only good thing about the UFL is these guys are getting paid less than most college football players, but they're getting paid and they're developing, and it's spring football. So it's something to enjoy. That being said, that's my positives. Oh, and they did technically use the colors for the Apollos in the Storm. Go look at them two side by side. It's very similar.
Yeah, I know the Storm is the Storm is going to be orange and purple. So yeah. Also, Jake, you can ask a dumb question. A football pitch for soccer is longer than a American football field. American football field is about 120 yards.
It looks kind of wonky when you have to. There's a lot of extra room around the whole stadium when you have the American football field on there.
Yeah, very wide sidelines.
We host a football game once a year.
I'm fine. I'm fine with the once a year game. Always been fine with the College Bowl game, the Cure Bowl. You know, like
which is it still there? I thought they moved it to the Citrus Bowl.
I don't know. Maybe depends on who's playing it, I guess.
That's true. The reality is that it's a soccer stadium first, a football or any lacrosse, ultimate frisbee, whatever these smaller outdoor large field things need to be. Shoot, I wouldn't be surprised if we could get the Savannah Bananas at some point, but
no, we're not big enough for that.
That's also true. The reality is the team has struggled over the last couple of years to maintain the facility as it is already. We used to have great groundskeepers, and then I'm pretty sure we lost them to the main guy to Miami. And we need to either hire more people for sure, hire the right people, or not do things like this, no matter how much money we're going to get, because we're already risking the health of our players. I mean, how many of our players have had leg injuries on that pitch this season that very well could have been prevented? I mean, Mike, you're a fan of a team that plays at MetLife.
Don't.
Sorry.
It's true, Ryder. It's true.
Double doink.
You're making a great point, Ryder. And for anybody that says, oh, it's only 5 games, or we have a great grounds crew, we may very well, but the first month of the season, the grounds were terrible. They were
lost
miserable.
2 people. We lost
Sucata
and Cartagena
in preseason.
And preseason, yeah. And we just lost Gervais too. And listen, man, it's the field, the injuries were just a result. But man, if you went to any of the matches, the first couple matches, it was really, really bad.
Ugly looking.
And especially where those guys got hurt, Cartagena and Sucata on that right side of the field, opposite supporters. It was not great over there. I sit, it was ugly. It was bad. And So yeah, I'm worried. I don't care if
I,
people say it's only 5 games. It's 5 games of 300-pound dudes with size 14 shoes, 15 shoes, stomping around, and then
I don't
Marching
other
up
know.
and
dudes that
down the
run
middle of
four
the
four
field.
fives. Yeah,
And I mean, the Miami Dolphins, I didn't know this until Hard Knocks a couple years ago. The Miami Dolphins own a turf farm. And they changed the sod on that stadium at least once or twice a year because they need fresh turf. And they have a whole staff of people that maintain that turf at their own turf farm. That's
I,
not something soccer has to deal with on a regular basis.
and even mid-season, I don't remember which game it was, but maybe one of you remembers it. I want to say it was Ojeda and a player from another team went in for like a slide tackle in the box close to where like Cleon's seats were, and like
Oh,
a
I
part of the
remember
turf,
this.
like a
Just
part of our
flew up like
grass,
a
like
golf
flipped.
shot.
Yeah, and
that's happened in the last 3 games. It happened to Duncan
y-
against Columbus.
did it? I have to
Yeah,
go back and find that
a whole
highlight, but
chunk got torn out when he went in for a slide. It's
yeah,
just I can't. I'm not excited about this, boys. And
yeah. I
their
feel
entire
like
thing. I saw a tweet today that said they went because the Jaguars, they're going to have to relocate for 27, and they want to showcase football in 26 in Orlando. I got news. If you want to get the Jags, don't bring a UFL team to Orlando because that's going to do the exact opposite. They ain't going to get people in those seats. Ain't going to
yeah.
happen. Nobody cares about UFL football in Orlando. It's just it doesn't. It's tried. It's tested. It doesn't work unless it's the XFL back in the days where no rules applied and you can late
He
hit
hate
and
me,
do
drop
all
kick.
all sorts of crazy show antics. It don't work, man. It don't work. If you wanted to get the Jaguar, this is going to push the Jaguars away in 2027.
What was the best part of the old XFL for you guys? Because for me, it was the coin toss.
I
I
like
don't
the
remember much
alternate
about it. I
names on the
was little.
jerseys.
The alternate names was good. The coin toss was when they had a football 30 yards away, and it was a race to who could get to it
I
first.
forgot about that.
That was
And
fun.
they were just beat the crap out of each other trying to get to the football. Oh man, what
That
a time
and the
it was to
running
have been alive.
start. The running
Yeah,
start I think they do that in the CFL.
maybe. But yeah, so I wanted to ask you guys specifically just because I know I have former football players, obviously a big American football fan. I especially with you being a Bears fan, you see how torn up the grass gets at Soldier Field.
Oh, it's
You
Soldier
know,
Field.
like
It's the same thing. If watch a game in October or November at Soldier Field, you will see lines in the center where you can clearly see where they have swapped out the turf just for the center within the gridirons. It gets nasty, and add in Florida heat and rain to it all. I mean, we don't normally get that much, but during that time of year, but throw that in, especially in like May and June when we're already going to be playing a bunch of matches there. Not to mention, I'm pretty sure it's a practice facility for the World Cup.
yeah,
I'm almost
it'll be.
positive that our stadium is a practice facility for the World Cup.
It'll probably be a home base for somebody for sure. And the last thing I'll say is if at any point during our MLS season next year I see football lines on the grass during home games, I am going to be livid. Just for the record, like the last thing that I want to see is any like NFL style lines on the field. So,
You better be a hefty amount that they're paying us.
yeah, for it to be worth our while and for the grass to be maintained. So, all right, that's enough with that. Let's wrap things up. Do we got any shout outs this week? I'll start with Ryder because I know he's got one in the chamber.
Oh yeah, had this. I forgot about this one, and you reminded me. It's been so long since I've been on. I took a very similar, no, actually almost identical version of flight Vancouver is going to take, and I went to Seattle for I actually got to see a very famous football / soccer stadium for a Seahawks home opener, but we went on a lovely cruise to Alaska, and I got to do it, guys. I got to golf in Alaska, and it was the only day on the entire cruise that it rained. I'm not kidding. It was 55 degrees and just pouring rain the entire time, and I played 9 holes of golf on basically a mountain in Sitka, Alaska, and it was maybe one of the most fun rounds of golf I've ever played. It was
That's
just
awesome, man.
Beautiful course for what it could have been. It was beautiful, and seeing the mountains, we went to a glacier. We got to go whale watching, got to see quite a few whales, went on a train ride, technically went into Canada, and then went on a train ride from Canada back to our port. And the picture, I'm still going through my pictures. Like, I haven't posted any of my pictures because I took so many beautiful pictures on this cruise. If you would have told me I would have been so thoroughly enjoyed a trip to Alaska, I would have told you 5-10 years ago, I would have told you were nuts. It was unbelievable. So shout out to Alaska. Shout out to, I don't have my hat, but shout out to Sitka Golf Course. Unbelievably fun. There were 4 people on the entire golf course.
Well, it's because it was pouring rain, dude.
Oh, it was psychopath behavior. Like, there was one guy running the pro shop, the bar, the practice facility. He was coming around and checking on us, seeing if we wanted drinks. Like,
nice.
We're friends on Instagram now.
There you go. What about you, Alex? You got any shout outs?
I'm going to shout out. I think I have one. I'm just going over this here.
All right.
I had a couple potential ones, but
I'll give you a second if you want. I'll toss mine.
I'll shout out Nashville for winning the U.S. Open Cup. It pains me to see, but it's also funny to see other fans that are saying they don't care about what happens in the MLS in the playoffs now anymore. They won their cup when the same people a couple of years ago were telling us that cup doesn't matter. It's a meaningless cup. Now they're all excited about it. So congrats to Nashville for winning the U.S. Open Cup.
Cycle of life there. My quick shout outs. I'm gonna give my shout outs to some art. Shout out to some music and some movies. Movies, I'll start first. Saw One Battle After Another. If you guys like a good Paul Thomas Anderson movie, it's a long one, but it's very good. And it doesn't feel like it's as long as it is. So I recommend that one. Hopefully going to go see The Smashing Machine this week. I heard the movie's but I heard The Rock is actually incredible in it. So I'll give him his due on that. And then this week, 2 concerts that I was really excited about. I got to see Chapel Roan over the weekend in Kansas City. Phenomenal performance. If you ever get the chance to see her in concert, highly recommend it if you like her music. And then shout out to my boys in Neck Deep. So they're from closer to your neck of the woods, Jake. Friends of mine from Wrexham. They're a huge band nowadays. They gave me tickets to go see them this week. I'm always appreciative. Shout out Ben. Shout out West. Appreciate you both. Got this hoodie from Pain of Truth who opened for them, and the story so far was also really good. So love those guys. They're fun story. The first time they ever came to the States, they were just here on vacation, and someone's like, "Hey, do you want to play a show?" And they set up 2 shows. One was a house show in Deltona, and the other was a show at the skate park of Tampa. And my friend asked me, he's like, "Can you help me drive them to Tampa?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." So that's how I met. Is I drove them to their show in Tampa. Their first 2 U.S. tours, they ended up crashing at my house when they came through Orlando. We've been friends ever since, and now they got just short of 4 million monthly listeners on Spotify. So they're doing pretty well.
Awesome. That's an awesome story.
So yeah, we've been friends for 12, 13 years now. So and the fact that they still will like hit me up and be like, "Hey, we're in town. Do you want tickets?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, dudes! I sure right I do." Also, shout out to Ben for being a suffering Man United fan with me as well. So, but all right, guys, that's it. We got to beat Vancouver this weekend with the skeleton crew. Let's hope that we do. And I'll talk to you guys. We'll have Den After Dark after the home game. So vamos, Orlando. We'll see you next time.
I hear nobody complain about Poppy not making any subs on Saturday because
there ain't
nobody to put in.
There's nobody to sub.
Ain't no players. Ain't no players. Vamos.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Orlando Lions Den podcast. Don't forget to follow us at Orlando Lions Den on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. See you next week in the Den.